Hey y'all, what you know good today? Thank you for joining me. This is the very first episode of what I hope to be many shows. Before I get into what it's about, let me introduce myself a little bit. Some of you know me, most of you don't, so let me let you know. My name is Dawn. Your average lady in her 50s, early 50s, not too late, early. I'm married. I have 2 grown daughters. And I have a big giant slobbering dog named Gracie. She's old. She's a big old Dane, and she is the joy of my life right now, especially since my daughters are gone, and it's just me and Gracie in the house shooting the bull most every day. But this isn't about that. This what we're doing today, and hopefully soon in the future, is not about that at all. I live in the Arctic tundra of cold-ass Wyoming. I've been here about 3 decades, but I'm not from here. I'm originally from the South. And I say that because I miss it. I miss it very, very much. I enjoy being from the South. I had some amazing memories from growing up down South. And if you've never been there, I'll tell you a little bit about it. The South, the smells and the people, the genuine generosity of people is very real. There's really a smell of honeysuckle and jasmine in the air, and there really are super kind people that would open their door for you to a stranger and make you a meal. And by the way, the food is ridiculous and probably some of the best I've ever had. Not some of the best I've ever had. As I've had some pretty good food because, you know, fat girl likes to eat. I was also raised in the Bible Belt. And so when I say that I was raised on sweet tea and Jesus, that's a real thing. Super real thing. But this is not about that either. Barring that, what this is about is Helga. See, let me tell you a little bit about Helga. Very recently, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. Now, when you first hear that, when people first hear that, immediately they look at you like, oh my God, you're dying right in front of my face, right here. And I hate being looked at like that because it's not about that either, really. About the breast cancer itself, okay? Because this is about the personal journey that goes with it. The reason I say this is about Helga is because that is what I call this cancer. I call this bitch Helga for a reason, because she's a tyrant, and she sneaks up on you. You have no idea she's coming. She's just, all of a sudden she's there. You don't know what she's up to. You think everything is great, and you're just trucking along with life, and everything is great, and Helga just sneaks up on you and punches you in the gut. So you don't expect it. It's Helga driving the bus. I'm just a passenger on the bus, and I don't want to be a passenger on the bus. And so when I found this out, because I'm still really early in my journey, and when I found this out, I thought, you know what? I'm not going down without a fight at all. Those people that do know me know that that's absolutely going to happen. I'm going to fight my way out of this for sure. And B, that I use humor as a form of therapy. It helps me deal with things that are serious and they're real. And I thought, you know what? If I can do this in a way that's funny and talk about my journey, then it's not only therapeutic for me, but hopefully it will help out maybe someone else that would be going through a journey very similar to this and is scared. Because let me tell you something, I'm petrified. I'm not going to lie to you. It's some scary shit. I have no idea what's coming. I don't know what's coming, but at least I'm going to come here to you. I'm going to be as real and raw as possible, and we're going to talk about it. Okay? I invite you to join me. And what I'm going to call my show is called Not Today, Murder Titties. So this is the Not Today, Murder Titties show. This show is a very real, raw talk about the ridiculous and humorous side of my personal journey with this bitch Helga, who I'm not a fan of her, okay? this is not going to be for everybody. I need to preface this. Maybe I should have said that in the beginning. Let me preface it by saying this is not for everybody, okay? This is going to be real and raw and crude and crass and rude and maybe vulgar at times. And I need to let you know that. So it's not for everybody. If I pull no punches at all. I will answer any questions anybody asks me with the raw, uncensored truth. I'm going to just tell it like it is. I usually shoot from the hip, and that's what we're going to do. If you may get offended by the type of language or anything like that, I invite you to move on. My feelings aren't going to be hurt. I've got enough shit to deal with. I mean, I still love you, but I got stuff to do. I have an agenda. This is my agenda, to do this and to tell you all the truth. And if it's not for you, and that's okay. I'm all right with that. And I wish you the best. I still love you. No hard feelings. Okay? For those that want to be entertained by the truth, or as I like to call it, the good, the ugly, and the ridiculous, please join me. Hang on with me. Please like and subscribe, because we got a lot more coming. I'm sure it's only going to become a bigger roller coaster ride from here. So now that I've told you a little bit about what this is about and a little bit about myself, let's get down to brass tacks. Okay, let's get down to the real deal. The truth is I know this is going to suck. It's going to suck super bad. I get it. Like right now, I feel great. If I did not know that this bitch Helga was trying to take me out using Lucy and Ethel as her hitmen, I would think all was right with the world. I would have no idea. None. I was traveling for work and truly enjoying myself. And my husband and I both working, got the kids out the house, and one in college, and one away in college, and the other one works full time, has her own place. And my husband and I just working on building our future and building our retirement. So I took a job out of town, and so we have this plan. And truth be told, I wasn't thinking anything of it. You know, you don't think about these things that you have to do when you get older. Nobody thinks about it. I mean, I know you're supposed to. That's what they say you're supposed to do. Women, when you get to a certain age, it used to be 40. I believe it's 45 now. You know, you're supposed to go get your boobs squished. Nobody wants to be squashed. Nobody, not one person. But it's something that has to be done. You usually put it off until you absolutely have to. I know many women that just never have had it done because, well, they didn't feel anything wrong. And I'll be honest, I was just right there along with them. Nothing was out of the ordinary for me. It's just how it goes. So when I ended up coming back home, I had a little break between what was supposed to be another job that was coming, and I was going to be going somewhere else on another adventure. But I was going to be home for a little while. And when I got back, I needed some prescription refills. And so I called my doctor. He's amazing. I call him Dr. Cape. He's a hero. He really is he's the shit. He's like one of the most genuine, honest individuals ever. And he truly cares. But truth be told, I didn't want to listen to him when he had been telling me since, you know, I'm 45 that I need to go get a mammogram, because I was past due. And so when I go and I make this appointment to talk to him about getting my prescriptions refilled, he's like, you have not gone to get your mammogram. And I, of course, sheepishly was like, well, you know, and try to make up excuses. And he said, no, I put in 3 orders for you to get a mammogram, and you have not gone to get the mammogram. This has been going on since you're 45, you're 52. Let's get this taken care of. So he broke me down, and for his frustration and chastising, I don't know if you can hear my dog Gracie. She doesn't like when I'm having conversation with other people that don't include her. Through the chastising that I got from him and his frustration, because truly I felt like I was getting a whooping from my grandma, honestly. But I broke down and said, okay, I'll go do it. Not only will I do it, not only will I make the appointment, but I'll keep it. And I made a promise that I would do that. So I kept my appointment, and I showed up, which is half the battle right there. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but every time I'm absolutely one of those people that will make an appointment of something I absolutely have to do, and then and, you know, make up an excuse or something comes up where I can't go, and, you know, and I put it off, and, you know, that's just how we do things, and that's how I do it. And I actually kept this appointment because I did not want to let my poor doctor down. And I'm like, okay, fine, you're 52, just go get it done. And that way he'll leave you alone about it. And he even said, just do it, I'll leave you alone about it. So I did. Here's how it goes. First of all, that contraption is crazy. Like, absolutely crazy. It doesn't hurt. You think it's going to hurt. Everybody assumes it's going to hurt. It doesn't. It doesn't hurt at all. I mean, it's uncomfortable because they put your girls in some crazy positions. I mean, crazy. Like, they got the right one. Ethel, that's Ethel. She's the one that's trying to kill me. They got her doing a 180 with the nipple tie blades facing the sun. The sun. Okay? Like, that's not natural. However, it is easy to do when you're an old lady like me and you've been rolling them up from the floor and shoving them in for the last 10 years. Okay? Gravity's a bitch, y'all. It's a real thing. Okay? You got to roll them up. You got to roll them up from the floor and you shove them in, and you got to get it situated, get them nipple tie blades situated just right. So they're going the right, facing the right direction, you know, preferably straight. Now, if you don't do that and you look down and you're not paying attention and you're not taking the time to do it, and you look down and you got one facing 11 o'clock and the other one at 4 p.m. Okay? Now, and that just looks ridiculous. It don't look natural. People think there's something wrong with you, and trust me, they notice. Okay? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I got off track there. It happens because, you know, squirrel. So that was the first one I had, the very first one. And so I get it done and over with, and I go home and I don't think anything of it. Okay? So, like, I find out about a week later that I have to have another one due to abnormalities on the, what I call the boob tube. So, well, here we go again, okay? But this time, I get an extra treat, okay? I get to have a biopsy. Woo, a biopsy. I never had a biopsy before, and I was scared shitless. Let me tell you what that is, boys and girls, okay? That is when they put a needle into your chi-chis and they pull out a little bit of tissue, for like samples of tissue to put under a microscope to see if they contain cancer cells or anything else that might come up that would be cause these abnormalities, right? I'm not gonna lie, that hurt like a bitch. That was not a good time. That was a really bad time, super bad. I was not numbed up yet, and of course, because I have to be difficult and take forever to get numb for anything, I don't know why, but they kept giving me lidocaine shots. They're like, okay, you ready? You're going to feel a little something. And I'm like, no, I'm not ready. Too bad. I'm going to do it anyway. And they get in there and they start taking samples. Now, I was a baby. I didn't like it. It didn't feel good, y'all. It sucked. But it didn't take terribly long, and when it was over, and they put these little steri strips on there, little Band-Aid things, and they put them on there, and they're like, okay, you'll heal up in a couple of days, and go on with your life. Okay, now, when you get to go have a biopsy, if you're super, super nice, and you ask really nice, your doctor could give you, and may give you, some yummy Valium. Valium's supposed to help ease anxiety of, having this procedure that I had never had done and was super, scared about. I've never had Valium. Okay. Let me tell you something. It didn't do a damn thing for me. Not one. Not one thing. I felt nothing. They gave me a very small dose, especially since I never had it. And I asked for it. And, I got to be honest, it didn't do anything for me. So I was like, well, I'm glad that's over with. I'm going to go home and cry now. So when I got home, and I was telling my husband about it, we'll talk more about him later because that's a whole story in itself. A little bit later, probably maybe 3 or 4 days later, that leads to a call from my doctor, Dr. Cape. Now, not from his nurse and not from his office, but from him. Now, if that don't make you nervous when the doctor calls you himself, because it certainly did. And I felt super bad for him because he's just the nicest, most decent person. And he's known me for a long time. And he's trying to tell me in a way that in the nicest and in the easiest way possible, that this don't look right. And he's going to send my results to the Cancer Institute. I felt bad for him having to tell me. I felt terrible about that. I didn't want him to have to tell me that. And of course, I didn't want to hear it. But, you know, in all reality, I wasn't even scared when I heard him say that. I was just like, oh, okay, you know, it is what it is, and we'll figure it out. Because honestly, I have no pain. I've never found any lumps or anything. You know, you're supposed to check yourself. I've never found anything like that. I have no pain. Nothing is out of the ordinary at all, like I said. So honestly, I kept thinking, no, that's probably a mistake. It's not a big deal. You know, we'll move forward. And so he's like, he's going to, you know, send all my information to the Cancer Institute, which is about a little less than 100 miles from here, from my house, which is in the middle of the mountains of Wyoming, like I said. So this process, by the way, is slow as shit, okay? Like, you would think that if you are diagnosed with something that's life-threatening, you get life-threatening results, that it would not take so long to get in to see professionals and specialists. Like, it takes 2 weeks to a month and sometimes longer to get a consultation with an oncologist. That's a normal thing. I didn't know that. I would never have believed that if someone had told me that. And it's truly sad, and it's not their fault, because, you know, there are so many people that have been diagnosed with cancer, with these cancer diagnoses, and there's not enough people to treat them and care for them. And that is sad, ladies and gentlemen. Just want to let you know that is my own personal opinion about that. So anyway, it takes me about 2 weeks to get in. So, which is, in the grand scheme of things, not really that bad. But the waiting to get in is a nightmare. I mean, a total nightmare. Not knowing anything is horrific. Like, you can't tell anybody, and you really want to say something because you really don't know anything. You don't really know any answers, so you really can't say anything to anybody, but you need to talk to somebody because all the shit that's going on in your head. You got a lot going on in your head, okay? All of a sudden, mortality smacks you in the face with a brick. Like, you don't think about it. These are not things that you think about every day. I don't think about my mortality every day. I never did. Granted, maybe I should have because I was getting older, but I never really did. I just, my body and my head, my brain is 52 years old, right? But technically, you know, I feel like I have so many more years left to go, and I never really put my any thought into my legacy and my what I would leave behind and my mortality. Never really gave it a lot of thought. And this shit smacks you in the face with it. Like, boom. Okay. You're picking yourself up off the floor, a little birdie swinging around your head, going, okay, what's going on? I don't have anybody to talk to because I can't tell anybody about it, right? But I got to talk to somebody because it's driving me crazy and it's in my head and I can't stop thinking about it, and it's making me very, you know, I'm trying to work, I'm trying to maintain my friendships and my relationships and with my children. I can't even tell my kids, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to scare them, and I don't want to tell people that are close to me, my family and my friends and people I work with and my bosses, and which are also my friends, because I don't have any answers, and I don't want to say anything that's not completely true. So I want answers first. Thankfully, I have a Jason. Jason is my husband. Jason is a giant bear of a man who has an enormous heart, and he will tell you his heart, and he'll tell anybody his heart is bigger than mine. He absolutely always says his heart's bigger than mine because your heart's supposed to be the size of your fist, and he's got these big old man bear paws. They're like this big, so his heart must be, according to him, this big, where I have tiny Skeletor fists, so my heart must be only this big. So he will tell anybody that will listen that he absolutely is kinder and nicer than me because he has a bigger heart than I do. He's funny. He thinks he's absolutely hilarious. I mean, he really is funny, but don't tell him I said that, okay? And he's very good at making me feel better in a way that's not obvious to everyone. He's very stoic, and acts, to anybody else, you would think that he's not really concerned or has care or worry, but he really does. how he, holds himself, and that's what he's supposed to do. That's what he thinks he's supposed to do. He's supposed to be the strong, oak tree of a man who's, going to take care of things and don't worry. So because I only have Jason to talk to, this begins a long, long list of Jasonisms, what I call Jasonisms, okay? And I'll refer to these Jasonisms in a special segment that I will have in every show, because this is a show. I like to think of it as kind of like Oprah, except instead of in the city, I'm in cold-ass Wyoming, and I have McDonald's money, barely, and not Oprah money. But this segment of the show is what I lovingly call Shit My Husband Says. I will have this segment on every show of Shit My Husband Says, because I feel like I am not the only person in the world that should be privy to all of the joy and comic relief that he brings to my life, because he's a hootenanny. So we'll actually start off with that. So in this first segment of Shit My Husband Says, here's a few dandies from him, okay? So when Jason and I were first talking about me having this possible cancer diagnosis, he from then on, and now still continues to, refers to this as Lake Titicaca. Lake Titicaca, he refers to it as that in every conversation, every text, every phone conversation, every in-person conversation. He's talked about Lake Titicaca in his sleep. The man cracks himself up with it. So that's what he calls it, Lake Titicaca. Here's another one. So him and I are having a conversation, because you talk about these things, about what if I have to lose one? Well, you think about this shit, because you don't know what's going on. So, of course, you think about the craziest shit ever. Oh, my God, I'm going to lose a tit. Shit. What am I going to lose? What if I lose one? Because you don't know anything yet, right? So, as we're talking about what if I have to lose one, he says, he gets super excited. And he calls me up. He goes, babe, I know what I'm going to get you for Christmas. I'm going to get you a bow for Christmas. Now, I'm like, huh? Because I don't really know what he's talking about. We mean bow. And he goes, yeah, I'm going to get you a bow for Christmas. And me, I'm still, huh? So, this is what he says. He says, so yeah, like the Amazons, and the Amazons, they would cut one boob off so they could be better archers. So if you cut one boob off, then you'll be an amazing archer. We'll get you a bow, and you will kick ass in archery. With one boob, you'll be great at it. And I'm just looking at him, and he goes, plus, if you get the other one sized up, because if you lose one, you get the other one sized up. That way, and you get them nipples out of the way. That way, when you pull back, you don't catch a nipple. This is my face. He thinks he's hilarious. Still talks about the bow. He probably will get me a bow for Christmas. I have no doubt. And yeah, I might be very good at archery. And actually, that leads me to think I might be better at golf, bowling. Oh shit, the possibilities are endless. Huh. I never thought of it. Maybe he's on to something. You never know. So anyway, that's it right here. This is the end of it for what I am now, because I'm still waiting to talk to the oncologist at the cancer treatment center. So that's the end of this first episode of what I call the Not Today Murder Titty Show on the What You Know Good Entertainment Network, or better known as the little office/craft room in my little home in Wyoming. In the Arctic tundra of Wyoming. I want to tell y'all thanks for hanging with me. I appreciate it. I know that this is kind of a little bit crazy. I've not done this before. I'm not a professional. I have been an entertainer my whole life, but I usually have actual people in front of me instead of just looking at myself in the camera. So I hope that I was able to come across in a way that y'all would understand. I would thank you for hanging with me, and continue to hang with me. I ask that you continue to hang with me. Please, please join me next time after first consultations with the oncologist, with the cancer docs, because I'm sure I'm going to have all kinds of information then. And I'll fill you on, in on what this bitch Helga is up to, okay? As far as any questions, I encourage all of you to please, any questions that you have, I don't care what they're about. I don't care if they're about this. I don't care if they're about my life. I don't care about if they have questions about what's happening, how it feels, anything. If it's something that you've gone through yourself and you want to share with me, I don't care what it is. Any questions that you have or comments that you have at all, please, please, I encourage you to leave them in the comment section. Please, I will answer them on my next show. I'm looking forward to reading them, and I will answer them on my next show, honestly and real, and I'll tell you the truth whether you want to hear it or not. Okay? Please, please like and subscribe on my show. That way you can get alerted to every time the new one comes out. Okay, please like and subscribe. I would appreciate that. And remember, get your girls checked. Ladies, get your girls checked. Okay, do not wait forever. Do not wait for your doctor to beg you on hands and knees. Please go. Don't feel like you have to be chastised into it. I know it sucks, but go and get it done, because honestly, it probably saved my life. And I want to make sure that yours is you're safe too. Okay, get your girls checked. It's super important to do that. I want to tell y'all, bless you, bless every one of y'all. I love y'all, and I'll see you next time. And remember, if you can't be good, be careful. Okay, peace, love, and all the above. Till next time.